One of the most common pieces of investment advice is to diversify. And if you're like most people, this is probably safe and sound advice. You don't really want to pay attention to the markets. You want to put a little bit of money away and not really think about it. Yeah, you should probably diversify. But if you're not one of those people, you want to hit it big, you want to make real big money and really be successful, diversifying, especially early on in your career before you have a really big win, is probably one of the worst things that you can do. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why. Now, number one, who actually benefits from you diversifying? That's usually why they're going to sell it. And if you don't know what you're doing, which obviously is kind of by design, they never teach you any of this stuff in school, who benefits from you diversifying, from you buying the S&P 500, from you having an investment broker? They do, because they are going to make money on the expense ratio from managing the ETF or managing your portfolio. So obviously they're going to tell you to diversify, overcomplicate it, muddy the waters, then they can benefit. But again, put that aside. Obviously also most people who invest and just try to pick stocks, you are going to lose because again, they don't actually pay attention. But if you are not one of those people, and again, you want to make it big, look at all of the richest people, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, really you can name 100 different people. Almost none of them made their money diversifying. They all made their money concentrating on one to maybe two different bets. They made most of their money in one area, then they diversified. So that's what the wealthy people are doing. Then they're going to tell you to diversify, or other people are going to tell you to diversify. Number one, because they're going to benefit, but that's not what they did. So don't listen to what they say, pay attention to what they do. So number one, that's what most of the rich and wealthy people are going to do. They're going to make their money on concentrated bets, then they are going to diversify. And if you diversify early, you don't have enough money in any of these buckets to make a noticeable difference where then you can diversify. So for example, say you wanted to invest $25,000 10 years ago. If you just invested into the S&P 500, today you'd have roughly $89,000, right? You made some money, you want to make that money grow as much as possible. You're maybe in the markets, you're really knowledgeable, you're paying attention to certain things. And every 10 years, there's going to be certain bets where, hey, if I'm in this direction, it's going to pay off. In the 2000s, after the dot-com bubble, up until 2015, if you were just in tech, if you were in those stocks, you were going to make it crazy. From 2015 to 2025, if you were in Nvidia, if you were in Tesla, if you were in really any of those energy sectors like that, you were gonna hit it big. And from now until 2035, it's probably the same thing. Energy, it's Bitcoin, it's cryptocurrencies, things like that. So every 10 years, there's a huge window where if you are directionally bet heavily on this area, you pretty much are good and set for the rest of your life. So again, if you invested that $25,000 10 years ago in the S&P 500, you diversified, you wanted to invest in these couple specific stocks and really bet on that, but you played it safe, you diversified. 25,000 into the S&P 500 10 years ago, today would be 89,000. Say you took that same $25,000 and broke it up into three different stocks that you heavily believed in. $10,000 into Apple, which has already had a huge crazy run up until that point. Then you invested $10,000 into Tesla, and then you invested $5,000 into Nvidia. Now obviously making these investments is way easier said than done. You need the specific knowledge, but if you're paying attention, you're learning, you're going to catch one of these early on. And obviously it takes the skill of being able to hang on, which is the toughest part. But that $25,000 investment spread across three different high conviction plays today would be over $2 million. $25,000 to over $2 million in a 10-year span, because again, you are just simply being able to pay attention to the market. You hit it big after those 10 years, then you take that 2 million, then you diversify. That $2 million portfolio will pay you a decent chunk of change every year and you will be protected. But again, you're not going to make crazy money by playing it safe. If you want to hit it big, if you want to make crazy money, far surpassing what the S&P 500 is going to do for you, you need very specific knowledge. You need to be paying attention. You need to be deep into the weeds of the things that you have specific knowledge on. For some of you, you may be a tech guy. You may understand social media. You may understand AI. You may understand engineering. You may understand AI and where it's going to go. So then with that specific knowledge, you can start to analyze some of these companies and pick, okay, I believe in these three, right? Pick the industry. AI is probably a safe bet over the next 10 years. Energy is probably a safe bet over the next 10 years. With that knowledge of where the wind is going, now let me take my specific knowledge and apply that to where I think these certain stocks are going to go, and then take conviction, high conviction bets and be willing to ride it out for the long term. Again, even just a simple $10,000, $20,000 investment. But again, if you're able to do that and then continue to keep applying pressure, continue to keep investing, again, you only need to be right once. So you can invest in 5 high conviction plays, 4 of them absolutely go to zero, 1 of them hits it big, and then you're able to make your money. So diversification to me is more of a wealth preservation as opposed to creation of wealth. So obviously, rule number one in investing, according to Warren Buffett, is do not lose money. Rule number two is revert back to rule number one. So obviously, the number one thing you want to do is protect your investment. But if you are heavily knowledgeable on that subject, constantly paying attention to the markets, and you just take a couple high conviction bets. Again, if you're trying to pick 50 stocks, you're not going to be able to pay attention to the news in terms of all of them. You're not going to be able to listen to every single earnings call. You're not going to be listening to certain podcasts on those sectors and understanding deeply what's going to go on. But if you want to hit it big, if you want to make real money, you need to be willing to take these high conviction bets and stop diversifying early. Do that from 20 to 30. You may be wrong a couple times. You may learn lessons, but the money that you're paying to the market to learn these lessons are things that you're going to be able to compound on down the road in your career to hit it big. So this is just my investment thesis. This is what I believe in, and this is what I'm doing, taking a couple high conviction bets over the next 10 years, let it play out. We will see. I will document it, but let me know what you guys think. Obviously, this is just me rambling, a lot of different thoughts, but this is just my thesis and what I am personally doing myself.